Take two. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Balls and Sticks, the podcast, late afternoon edition, evening edition, and a winning edition. As we'll call it the championship edition, as we'll get into that in a little bit. Like to welcome those listening in podcast land, and Rich, like to welcome you as well.
Yeah. So, welcome folks watching us from on the YouTube at a later date, as well as those watching us live here on Facebook.com. Make sure to, if you leave a comment while we're on the air here, we'll make sure to give you a shout out at the end of the show, or if you just give us a reaction.
Yeah.
As well.
So thank you to J.R. Mitchells for the for letting us know they couldn't hear us, and then helping me figure it out afterwards. So
yeah. So thank you.
And we'll get into him a little bit more.
Yeah. So we apologize to anybody that got a second notification that we were going live again.
Yep.
So Mike, since we're running a little bit behind and doing our show a little later than normal, let's just go ahead and get right into it, Mike. So what's the time to do?
Roll the intro.
That's right.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
And we're back. Okay. So first thing we do is the poll question every week. This week's finals, the championship round. We have last week Brats went up against Brisket. Not the way I thought it was going to go, and I totally forgot to vote this week. Okay. Wouldn't have made a difference.
Wouldn't have made a difference. So what was the final decision, Mike?
5-2 in favor of Bratwursts. Probably the biggest upset of our poll questions, and yeah. So,
all right.
Thank you, you, J.R. Mitchells, for letting us know you can hear us. By the way.
All right, cool. So I went with bratwurst because I think that's more of a food that you normally see at a tailgate. Being prepared at a tailgate, as while I prefer brisket, I went with the logic. I tried to use the logic when voting of what you would actually see and eat at a tailgate.
Yeah,
not necessarily what I would prefer.
Not a bad. Not a bad way to do it.
All right, so this week we're gonna try and have a third place game because Mike and I kind of need to figure out what we're gonna do for the next set of poll questions. So we're gonna do our third place matchup, burgers versus pulled pork, and that's gonna go live today at 5:55 p.m.
on 3/5. Nice job.
Yep.
Okay, so big story of the week. This is probably going to be our biggest story of the week as we talk. This week in Des Moines, Iowa, we had the girls basketball state finals. Your Estherville Lincoln Central Mighty Midgets lady basketball team played Monday against Sergeant Bluff Lutton. Beat them 49-37. On Thursday afternoon, they played the number 1 ranked team in the state in Class 3A. Last year's state champion, Unity Christian. And boy, did they come out victorious, 57-44. And Friday night at 8 p.m. on prime time Iowa Public Television, you could have watched Estherville Lincoln Central go against last year's 4A. You heard that right. They were last year's 4A state champs. Dropped down an entire class and still lost to Estherville Lincoln Central 30-44. Estherville Lincoln Central ladies basketball team is your champs for Iowa State 3A basketball. Let me let you know who these your starting lineup is senior Caitlin Tyndale, captain of the team. Jordan Stokes, kind of just a great player. JC Anderson, by the way, JC, 4 sports she made it to she qualified for state in this year. 4 sports she participated in state. Haley Stokes, the captain, voted captain by of the All-State Championship Tournament team. As a freshman, scored 24 points in the championship game. And then Jaden Nichols, who we have an interview with. By the way, Caitlin scored 1,000 points this year. Jaden also scored 1,000 points, scored 1,000 points in their careers at Estherville Lincoln Central. Jaden also had over 500 rebounds. I had the opportunity to sit down with Jaden and her father, J.R. Nichols, who is a friend of the show, participates with the show, comments on the show. Great guy all around. They were able to. They were on the show today, and I got an interview with them. So let's listen in and hear what they had to say about the week.
Daddy, daughter, getting to be state champs. How'd it feel?
Unreal. Believable.
It's awesome. It's like I'm still in shock. It's an awesome feeling. We're gonna get memories for a lifetime.
Yeah. So, 1,000 points, 500 rebounds in your career. Daddy gets to watch you do it. Dad, how does it make you feel proud? How proud are you at this moment?
Very proud. Very proud. For her to, have over 1,000 points, and then I think she just hit over 600, being down at state too. So I'm just a very proud father, and she's just watching, being a coach and being to watch her, front row doing the things that she loves to do. It's just been awesome.
Jaden, last game, you got to win the state championship. Win. How many people get to say they go out on a win, and not just a win, but for state champion? That's how you end your career as a midget. What's the future hold for you?
I don't know, but we're gonna go play basketball at Iowa Lakes and see where that takes me.
Okay, so this year, in a snapshot, give me one word that sums up this year for you.
Together.
Awesome. What's it mean to you?
That means a lot. I've been playing with these girls since I started playing basketball and with the same coaches, so it means a lot.
Okay. So one final question. Where are you going for dinner tonight?
I want steak.
Dad, how's that sound?
That sounds good to me. But we're probably going to go to bed like at 7 o'clock because we've been lack of sleep all week.
Yeah. What time did you get to bed? Energy and all that.
1.
No. What time did you actually get to bed?
1.
Oh, okay.
And then I woke up at 6 a.m. So.
Okay. So, love to congratulate you guys. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for everything you've done in your high school career. You guys have done great. We look forward to celebrating you in your high school or in your college career too. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was J.R. Nichols, friend of the show, and his daughter, Jaden. Jaden, a senior, getting to win the state championship, and man, was it great. The energy, even though they were so tired, the energy they brought into the field house today as we got to go and celebrate and join with everybody to congratulate them. One more time, I'd like to say congratulations, girls. Rich, your thoughts on both the interview and their accomplishment?
Yeah, it's always great to include the local teams in our show. We'll probably have to try and see if we can get that championship photograph onto the kind of like the intro slide that we roll while our intro plays as well. Since it's a big accomplishment for the city of Estherville. So congratulations to the team, and thanks again for the Nichols family for doing a great impromptu interview as well. So yeah, so we'll keep. So Mike, you have to keep on. Maybe you have to follow what Iowa Lakes
Yeah.
Iowa Lakes College does as well. If
Yep. We'll definitely
as well as
we'll definitely keep an eye on her career and maybe get some more interviews on her from her later as she does great things at Iowa Lakes over the next few years. So
yeah, but you were also mentioning that that they had a freshman get high honors from this team too. So it doesn't necessarily. So this might not be the last time you hear of the the ELC girls basketball team on the show either.
Yeah. So also sisters Haley and Jordan Stokes, their dad helps coach the team. So hopefully next year at another rally we can get an interview with those two and hopefully get them to let us in on their thoughts on next year and hopefully back to back. But great job, Midgets. Yeah. So Rich, do you see what's coming up next?
Is it a left turn, Mike?
Yes, it is. And what's after that, Rich?
It's probably going to be another left turn.
As we head into the NASCAR corner, presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Street?
Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue. I always forget.
Avenue.
Fifth Avenue, Moline. Check them out either in person or online on wherever you find, or on eBay. They have an eBay store. So check them out. Okay, so to recap the Wise Power 400, Rich, how'd it go? And do you want to give a full recap, or are you just going to give the overall recap?
Well, we'll give the full thing. I'll go with the full thing. So your race winner was Kyle Larson, kind of picking up where he left off last year, as he was your Cup champion last year. My pick of Kyle Busch came in 14th after rebounding from some transmission issues. Mike, your pick of Chase Elliott came in 26th place.
Yeah, what happened there? He was doing so good, and then all of a sudden, totally just dropped out of the top 10. He was he was up front. He got some contact with some people, but man, it was terrible.
Yeah. So, for me, I thought when I saw Kyle Busch having the rubbing up against the wall and also having the engine or transmission issues, that it's another cause of the balls and sticks curse on Kyle. And we were gonna be tied up at 1-1 going into Vegas this week, but all of a sudden I wake up from my NASCAR nap, I see a text from you saying Kyle rebounded. Kyle got his laps back, and Chase Elliott dropped back in because of an accident.
Yep.
So that makes it 2-0 between the two of us, Mike. As far as fantasy NASCAR goes, we have our standings from Auto Club. The Easers won this week with 205. The Funkhouse came in second with 189. I was third with 168. Dupo, Solomon Stroop came in with 162. And Mike, you brought up the rear again, 125.
123.
So
no, I only got
123.
I only got 123. Yeah, it was terrible.
All right. So Dupo stays in the lead at 365. Mike and I are in 4th and 5th respectively, still trying to dig out of that early hole that we put ourselves in with low scores coming out of Daytona. All right, so Mike, the boys are headed kind of a little bit down south from Fontana to go out to Las Vegas.
Yep.
For the Pennzoil 400. So Mike,
you have the honors.
My guy.
Yeah.
I have the honors. I'm going to go with Joey Legs, and I'm going to go with Team Penske's Joey Lugano.
Okay. I am going to pick, I'm going to pick a Las Vegas native. He races a Toyota. His initials are KB. Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch.
Yeah,
All
Kurt
right.
Busch. Not Kyle. I can't pick Kyle. Not to win things.
All right. All right, so Lugano is going to be 6th on the grid. Kurt Busch is going to be going toward the back of the grid, as he's going to be starting from the 31st position.
It's all right. It's all right. It doesn't
right,
matter
so
where you start. It matters where you end.
That is correct, Mike. So you can catch that race at 2:30 Central Time over on Fox. And once again, that was the NASCAR Corner, presented, as always, by III Sports Cards Incorporated, 5th Avenue Moline, or look them up on their eBay store for all your sports, memorabilia, or collectible needs.
Okay.
So, Mike, let's keep making left turns, and let's go over to the baseball diamond, as there's some news.
Yeah.
Not necessarily good news, but news coming out of the MLB this week.
Yeah.
As we got an update on the negotiations.
So I will say we're going to go a little bit we're going to dive into the weeds on this one. Last week, heading into negotiations, during Saturday, the headline news that the owners were trying to get out there was, the reps are showing up in their Lamborghinis, and they're showing up in their nice cars and $1,000 watches and blah blah blah, and the owners are putting this out there. Obviously, that's what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then they say, this is how much they're losing a day. But and I don't remember, was that on Facebook that I sent that to you? I sent that to you in a I gotta find that. So the MLB. So Max Scherzer, the highest paid player in the league, if games are canceled, are going to play, or he's going to lose $232,000 per day. There's some dollars and cents in there, but that's roughly what he's going to lose per game, canceled game. Now, here's the thing. This is what the league is putting out. This is what they're putting out. But this is also why the Players Association is arguing, and this is a big deal, really. If they go with the MLB Players Association, the league minimums, each player that plays on a minimums contract will lose $4,166.67 a game. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go with the MLBs, they're going to lose $3,440.86 a game. Now, that doesn't sound like a big difference, but multiply that by 162 games. That's huge. Man.
So both sides are losing money with each series or game that the commissioner has to come out and make a public statement saying, well, because we don't have a deal in place, we're going to cancel this many games. And this week's announcement was that the first 2 series of the regular season would be canceled. And as of now, they are not going to be made up either. So the best case scenario for baseball season this year is 156 games.
Yep. So here's the deal. And there's people arguing, I'm sick of millionaires fighting billionaires. That's fine. You could be sick of that. But just to give you an idea, that is per game $725.81. You know what that is over an entire season, Rich?
I got a feeling you were doing the math. So what did it come out to, Mike?
$117,581.22. That's how much the MLB is trying to take away from guys playing on the league minimum. That's, man.
So I mean, several top name players have come out voicing their opinions on it. Mike Trout, has already said to me, I want to be out there playing baseball. It's what I love to do. But we've got to get a good contract because it's not I'm not looking out for myself. I'm also thinking for the players that are coming after me.
Yeah, and when you talk about these minimums, like those are the guys that this matters for. It also matters how long arbitration is. How long before you can arbitrate? When they were arguing about player safety over COVID protocols and all that, I was on the owner's side. I tended to be on the owner's side that time. Now, not so much. Pay the players. By the way, you made a great argument in conversation that we made last week that some news has come out that makes one argument for the owners kind of a moot point. Are you not remembering what you said?
No, I don't remember what I said. What was that?
There was a team that's publicly traded.
Oh yeah. There's the Atlanta Braves.
Yep.
Had to release their earnings.
Yep.
Had to release their earnings because they are a publicly owned company owned by Liberty Media. And I didn't read the entire article, but it being a Cub-centered fan blog, they made the comment of, well, maybe baseball ownership is profitable.
It is.
You always hear Tom Ricketts talking about how we need to control our spending or we only got so much money, and probably most of that's due to his financial investments in the Wrigleyville area to make it.
Yeah.
To improve the neighborhood and everything around the ballpark, which is great, by the way. It doesn't have the same vibe that it did maybe 10 years ago with a lot more restaurants and restaurants and hotels in the area that weren't there before. It feels less like a neighborhood
and more like a
ballpark.
It feels more like a tourist area. It always had been a tourist area, but it always felt like you were going into a neighborhood. Now it's a place for tourists to come.
Exactly. I mean, now you walk into Wrigleyville, they have a big old hotel, the Zachary Hotel, which has kind of feels like a little bit some chain restaurants around there, like the Starbucks coffee and like the Cubs front offices are in plain sight, are in plain sight there. They have a building there, as well as a team store, to where it's almost like they're trying to get you to shop at their team's big team store instead of going to like Wrigleyville Sports, which is right there on the corner away from the front gate. Or
I didn't know that they put in a hotel. By the way, I haven't been there.
There is a hotel across the street.
Since they put the hotel in.
Gone is you can still get a good cheap meal before going into the ballpark, like in a McDonald's, but you have to go inside of the hotel to get that instead of having like the Taco Bell. And I think they did put the Taco Bell is back in the Wrigleyville neighborhood now.
Okay, is the best burrito that you can get in Wrigleyville still there?
Yes, El Burro is still there, I believe. It's been a while since I've been up to Wrigleyville. I'm hoping to get up to a game if they have games this year.
So, Rich, how much do you think it costs if we were going to go up and stay in the Zachary this weekend? How much do you think it's going to cost? For two queens. We're going to do two queens.
If I had to guess, it's non-baseball season. I'd still think it'd be above $200 a night.
Yeah. Do you have a guess on where in the 200 range or above the 200 range?
Okay, if I'm needing to get more specific, I'm gonna go 256.
Darn close, Rich. So the room itself goes for $224.42. But then,
and that doesn't include any of your city taxes.
Your city or U.S. or all of those taxes and fees. $39.05 worth of taxes and fees, bringing the grand total to $265.47.
Oh, $47.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
that couldn't got me up on the stage if that was a price. If we were playing Prices Right.
Yeah, you probably would have gotten up there. By the way, that's only 2 guests. Let's see if I put it up to 4 guests. because I only put 2 guests. I figure if you and I are going and we're sharing a room, we're gonna have to bring our wifey wives. Let's see.
Now, don't get me wrong. There seems to be. I've looked at what restaurants you could visit that are on property there, and it looks like some great restaurants. But
oh wait, that was the member price. Wow. Oh man. I didn't. So if the 4 of us with Grace wanted to go to a game, $468.85.
They have a member's price.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is
it's part of it's by the way, it's part of Marriott.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Sunday into a Monday, by the way. That's a Sunday into a Monday. Not a weeknight. That's not tonight. That's not a weekend.
And I bet you that doesn't include a parking spot if you drove in.
Learn more. I didn't look. I'm sure it doesn't.
No, I'm sure that's an extra fee if you want to park in there. Probably, I'm guessing with that place, it's got to have an underground garage for guests.
I would hope so, but I don't see anything for parking there.
But that's crazy. So I'd have to agree with you, Mike. I'm always got to be on the player's side as well. I mean,
yeah.
Because the other thing that came out was Jason Hayward and a couple other players made comments of this is what the owners wanted all along.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Because to delay the season because they feel that April games are a deficit or the ownership groups count that as a loss.
Yeah.
And I can see that the cold weather games for most teams, including the Cubs, even when they're playing well, opening days sellout, best big game of the year to be at. But middle of April, or even game 2, there was a significant drop in the standing in the attendance figures.
Yep.
By people physically attending the game, maybe not by having tickets bought, but not attending.
Yeah.
Big difference for any team.
Yep.
From opening day to probably even into Memorial Day, you'd say, when the weather starts getting warmer.
But I just want baseball, Rich.
I know. I really want baseball too.
I just want some baseball. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah. Tune in to ESPN Plus. You can watch college baseball as their season's going on.
Yeah.
College baseball started. ESPN Plus gets a lot of games. I haven't had a chance to view any of those.
Yeah.
But I'm still holding out hope we're going to have a season. So, and with the new job that I got, I could listen to ball games at my work now.
Awesome.
With the way things go.
Baseball.
So that's their baseball.
Baseball has been very, very good to me.
All right. So hopefully we got good news to bring on the MLB front on next week's show. But if anything, 156 is better than no baseball, and so I'll take a 156 game season. I'd rather have 162, and who knows, maybe within the negotiations they'll figure out a way to make up those games. But we'll have to see. So Mike, let's go ahead and go into our into kind of like our quick hits, and you added something, the LA Lakers failure. So we don't really talk too much NBA, so let's go ahead and go with it.
Okay.
What do you got?
So I've watched a little bit this year. I've also gotten to, I listen to sports talk nearly obsessively, it seems like. But the LA Lakers this year have done nothing. They got swept by the Clippers this year. They might limp into the playoffs. Get into that play-in game. Now, some of the concept has been they brought in Russell Westbrook to carry a bunch of the load so that LeBron could what's the word I'm looking for, Rich?
Take a secondary role on
the
team a little bit more.
He could manage his he could have some time management some rest. He could take breaks.
That hasn't worked out for him. Anthony Davis hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Yeah.
This year, he's been on and off the court.
And the whole idea is, well, we just got to get LeBron gets to the playoffs and then he turns into playoff LeBron and blah, blah. Yeah, but it's not a switch. As much as we all want to think that LeBron has a switch that he just flips, it's not. It's a process. And yeah, he's actually had to play a lot better, and he's not playing terribly, but this year is proving that LeBron cannot put the entire team on his back, carry it, and I don't think he's going to. I mean, I hope he proves me wrong. I really do, but he's not going to. I don't think there's a way he's going to win the championship this way.
No, I don't think the Lakers are going to win the championship either with the way they're playing.
So then what are we doing? Then, I mean, the Lakers don't do it. It's amazing to see the deficit they've put themselves in, the lack of passion at times. That's the thing. Like, games that I've seen, and again, a lot of the games that I watch are highlight. I watch a lot of the highlights of games and stuff. It's quick. You can watch a couple highlights on your lunch break, blah, blah, blah. But you're sitting there, and they don't look like a team that's ready for playoffs. They don't look like they're playing with the passion that they need in order to be the champions. I saw 14 girls march into a basketball court today and own the room and light the room up with excitement. I bet you put them in the it's not the Staples Center anymore. What is it again? Crypto.com
something.
Yeah, the crypto.com center, I think is what it is. Yeah, you put them in there. They're going to bring that place to its feet. The Lakers energy they're bringing in, you can't hardly get me to watch it, let alone bring me to my feet at a game. That's not how you win championships, Rich.
No. So if you're the Lakers, I mean,
we're at the point where
I think I've heard point. I mean, you're stuck with Russell Westbrook because of the contract that Houston or OKC gave him.
Yep.
So you're going to have to trade away a lot of assets to get him off your team.
Yeah,
Do you trade away Anthony Davis and hope to get enough back in return, or do you do the unthinkable and trade LeBron?
So LeBron came out, was it 2 weeks ago, and said, I'm playing with, my last year is going to be playing with Bronny, his son.
Yep. And we kind of discussed that end of last week.
Yeah. So let's circle back. Does LA say fine? I mean, I think they have his contract through the year that LeBronny should be eligible at this point. So let's say, does LA say, okay, who wants him? Who's going to go draft Bronny? We'll trade you, or do they go after Bronny? Is it worth going after Bronny? Bronny's games, he doesn't excite me. He does not have the skills of his father. He is
that's what I've heard as well. I mean, you're not getting LeBron James. You're getting he's not as talented as people are bringing him up to be. You're
getting a copy. When you look at a copy machine, every time you make a copy, let's say I take these notes, I put it on a copy machine. They're not going to be as nice as this original. And you know what happens if I pull that copy off and make a copy of it? It looks worse. And if you keep doing that, eventually it becomes unrecognizable. That's just the way that it works, and that's kind of that's what we're seeing with Bronny. He is not to the level of his father. Do I think he has the potential to be an NBA player? Yes. Do I think truly what he needs to do is sit in the G League for like 5 years? Probably. The
I don't know
NBA
if
is
it'll be that far.
the
I
NBA
mean,
is
if anything, is he good? If you hold the number one pick, do you
Yeah.
take Bronny James just so you could have LeBron James for 1 or 2 years
but
before he retires?
if you watch this year, so last year you started seeing chinks in the LeBron James armor. This year you're seeing holes in it. What's next year going to look like? By the way, Bronny's still not eligible to get into the league next year. So that's the year
he's gotta play his
after.
1 year. That's right. So you're going to have 2 years. So I think LeBron has 1 year left on his contract.
Is he
for
going to
next
have any?
year.
Is he going to have any armor left when it comes time for him to play with Bronny? Is he gonna be the guy that you're excited about at 40 years old? Or are you just gonna sign him to a league minimum and say, hey, you're not worth this, but we'll give you league veterans minimum and we'll pick up your son? Because we need to put butts in seats. Because that's, to me, what it seems like it's going to be.
Okay. Do you see for me, I almost want to know. I almost could see the James family saying, "Don't pick my son," just like with Kobe Bryant did with Charlotte. With Charlotte when they drafted him, is no, we're not going to play here. I only want to play for L.A. So that way LeBron can sign a 1-year deal with L.A. So
it might happen. I don't like
another
it.
Team.
I don't think it's the right move. I think if you're Bronny James, you're excited to just get picked.
Yeah, I think it's going to put anybody that's drafting in that round into a tough situation. Did they pick the best player available, or did they pick Bronny James?
I'm not picking
because
Bronny.
LeBron's already come out and said that I'm going to sign and I'm going to play. I want to play with my son.
But do you
last year?
Do you want him to play?
Last year in the league.
Do you want him on your team? Right now, you're a GM. You are a GM. You have the number 1 pick overall. Do you want LeBron for next year after seeing his performance this year?
I don't, but mostly because I don't think LeBron. From what I've read, it doesn't sound like Bronny James is going to be a number 1 overall caliber player.
But even if you take that out, is he worth the whatever million that he is?
Right now, I don't think he is. Because I want to know if I'm getting LeBron James the player or if I'm getting LeBron James
the dad,
the wannabe front office guy that says, all right, well, I'll sign with your team, but you've got to get players X and Y too to come play on this team.
Yeah.
Because I want to win.
Yeah.
Because that's how Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook are Lakers, is because that's who LeBron wanted.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's going to view that I wonder if you're a team that's probably going to be picking first because you have the worst record in the league and you win the lottery. Is LeBron going to sign with that team?
Is he going to be worth? Is he going to help the team enough?
Worth it? Yeah. Or is it going to be a situation of, no, I want to play for this team, and oh, by the way, you know that I said I wanted my son to play for that team, so yeah. So you're going to trade him to this team.
Yeah,
you're going to trade him to the team that I'm going to play on.
I think it's going to be ugly no matter what it is, and I hope that he doesn't do it. I don't know. It's going to be ugly no matter what, but I just thought it was an interesting question to see how bad they're failing this year, even though they have probably 5 of the top 15 players on their team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Great players, but...
And especially great players all time. They have some of the best all-time teams. So, USFL getting sued. Why? What?
What? The USFL? Yeah.
And who's suing them, Rich?
The former owners and general...
So you're saying the USFL is suing the USFL?
Kind of.
Okay. I'll have you break it down
the
for me.
Former USFL. Got to get to that over on the link. Sorry.
Yep.
The
Former owners.
team owners and executives from the original USFL are suing Fox Sports to halt the launch of the new Spring Football League with the same name, alleging the new USFL is inappropriately using the old league's branding.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that it was all like they were using all of the same stuff, and it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, they apparently had trademarks, and so they're alleging trademark infringement. I did not realize that Fox Sports was making
Was one of the larger shareholders.
Was a shareholder of the league. I mean,
you're gonna, and the games are starting in April. They've already been running promotional stuff.
Are they going to be allowed to? Like, that's the
I don't
question.
know at this point.
Or are they going to have to give ownership to the ownership group that formerly owned it too? And then, I mean, yeah. By the way, wasn't a current former president, an investor in the USFL?
Yeah, former President Donald Trump owned the New Jersey Generals. And if you watch the 30 for 30 on it, Small Potatoes, it kind of outlines when Trump got involved with the league, that's when it started going downhill, because he was the driving force that got them to switch to being a spring league to playing in the fall and going up against the NFL. And he was also the ones that his Generals were also one of the teams that overplayed, that got signed some big name NFL draft prospects to play for his team in the USFL instead of going into the NFL draft. I think Herschel Walker was one of those players.
Yeah, I'm amazed at... Yeah, it'll be interesting. I wonder if he's part of the lawsuit.
I don't know.
To me, that's a question. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works and what's going to go on there. I wasn't trying to bring him up. I'm not endorsing any candidates or anything. It's just he was, and it would not be something that would be out of the realm of possibilities that he would sue somebody because he wants to get his name out there and stuff. Or I don't know. It's just crazy. Speaking of spring league sports, the XFL. What's going on? So the XFL is going to be collaborating with the NFL. How's this going to work? Well, the NFL, because the NFL doesn't have a development league, the XFL is saying, why don't we do it for you? So they've reached out. They're going to be collaborating with the NFL. Just point blank doing it.
Yeah, their collaboration will more focus on forward-thinking physical and mental fitness programs for players, studying playing surfaces and equipment, and the sharing of game trends and data. They are no by all means getting...
They're not getting money for it.
Affiliated. No.
But
I think it's a step in the right direction for the XFL as an organization, because it seemed like when Vince McMahon was doing it, he wanted for it to be better than better than the NFL.
And the other thing about it, this is a big one. Here's one for you. I mean, their players have the rights to get signed with NFL teams. Oh, by the way, apparently there's going to be, like, if you get cut from a team, you can also get signed with the XFL, is what it sounds like too. Like, it's gonna be interesting. They're still gonna have different rules. They're gonna make it slightly different. But man, it's good. It could
good for them to reach an agreement to have that could be their ticket to surviving more than one season.
Yeah, so
if they've got the NFL backing them a little bit. even if it's unofficially or indirectly backing them as a unofficial development league, even if it's to study trends or different ways or pioneering different officiating tools that could see their way of getting into the NFL.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. That's what, if you're going to be a spring league, you need some sort of tie-in with the NFL. And I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did the opening for that. That had to have been on his mind. He probably had knowledge that this was coming in the pipeline, which is why he did it for Fox. Either that or he just wanted paid.
Or Fox and the NFL. I think he did something similar, but he wasn't on site for that Super Bowl thing. I think he did a video last 2 years ago for the Super Bowl.
So either way, it's going to be exciting. I'm putting the over-under on, especially with this lawsuit, 3 weeks. 3 weeks that there will be games before USFL goes bankrupt. So,
all right, Mike. So let's do this here. Which do we see first?
Yeah.
An MLB game or a USFL game? Which will hit the air first?
Do I want or do I think will happen?
Think will happen.
When is the USFL?
We'll go with regular season game.
2 weeks is when we're supposed to have USFL. 3 weeks.
I think it starts in April.
Okay.
3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have USFL first. They'll get it figured out. They'll get it figured out and have it that first weekend of April. They'll be fine. So, okay. Rich, do you want to hit the Frontier League's extra inning rules real quick and see?
Yeah, that's been on the outline for a long time. So, supposedly the minor league baseball is will not be affected by the current MLB work stoppage.
Yep.
As our local team, the Quad City Riverbands, have announced our season will not be impacted at all, as I don't think any of the current River Bandits are probably on any 40-man rosters, let alone the Major League roster heading into the season. So their season is going to start on time. But the Frontier League, which is an independent baseball league, announces how they're going to handle extra innings.
Yeah.
And they're calling it sudden death extra innings rule.
Yep.
So before the start of the inning, the manager of the home team will decide whether to play offense or defense. The offensive team will begin the inning with a free runner, the previous batter in the lineup on first base, picking up wherever they're scheduled to hit in the lineup. The offensive team has 3 outs to score the runner. If the runner scores, the offensive team wins. If they don't score, the defensive team wins. And supposedly, this is a change from last year in the Frontier League, where they did a home run derby style extra innings to decide extra inning.
I like this better. I like the concept of home run derby. I don't know that I like the execution of it. I think that's a fun way to do it. I think what you should do is do an extra 5 innings, and then go into the home run derby. But I don't. These rules don't bother me all that much.
Yeah, I mean it is an independent baseball, an independent league.
Yeah.
So
and they have to do something to get people in.
Yeah. I kind of like it. I mean, if anything, if you choose to be on defense, it's almost like you're almost treating it like it's the bottom of the ninth and you lead. So all you got to do is prevent the other team from winning. It doesn't matter if the bases are loaded or if you got nobody on or just that one runner on.
Yeah.
So using that strategy, assuming you have a great closer that you chose not to use in the ninth inning to go into extra innings, would you throw him in and take your chances that your closer could nail down those last 3 outs, or do you take the offensive side and say, all right, I got 3 outs to get my ghost runner, my free runner home?
Yeah. It brings fun strategy to it. So I don't mind it. I think they always do fun things in the Frontier League. That's where we get. That's where they already have a pitch timer on it. They have. Aren't they the ones that did the you can steal on any dropped for a year? I think they did that.
I don't know if they were.
They've done a few things they've gotten headlines for. I don't mind it. It's fun. It brings more people to watch. It gets more motivation. So, okay, Rich, we finished an outline today.
We did.
High five.
Outline, nothing left over. Yeah.
And we added two things at the last minute.
Yes,
so, Rich, people are watching us on Facebook. What should they do if they want to listen to our awesome voices in the car?
You can look for Balls and Sticks, the podcast, wherever you find your other podcasts that you listen to, as we are now on all the popular podcast sites, including iHeartRadio.
Yeah, check us out there if that's where you choose to listen to podcasts. Also, folks, if you are listening to us in podcast land, you want to see our pretty faces, you can check us out on youtube.com/ballsandsticks. We have a channel there. You can watch us there. Or if you want to participate in the show, like J.R. Nichols, you see him on Facebook as David J.R. Nichols Jr. That's what his handle is. That's why I use it. I genuinely call him JR 99.9% of the time, but that's what he is. If you want to be like him and get shout-outs like saying that he thought it was, and I quote, very cool, Mikey, great job, that was fun. Talking about the interview that him and his daughter gave. Or you want to be like Sue Hart, my mama, saying, congratulations, mighty midgets, and get those shout-outs. You can check us out on facebook.com/ballsandsticks, where you can be a fan, turn on those notifications, listen, subscribe if you're on YouTube, all of those things. You'll get notified when we go live if you're on Facebook, and you can join the conversation. And finally, just for your information, Rich, J.R. Nichols also says thank you, Balls and Sticks, for giving him and his daughter a platform to kind of have that interview and get to experience what it's like to be on a podcast and be interviewed once in a while. So, Rich, do you have any personal shout-outs of the week?
I do not.
I do.
Awesome.
I have a lot. I should have done all of them last week. It could have been last week or this week. But Sunday, the 27th, Jonathan Hart had a birthday. So happy birthday to him. And then February 29th. Yeah, you heard that right. February 29th. My niece was born. So the 28th, we called her and sang the first half of happy birthday. And then the first, we called her and sang the second half of happy birthday. And she gets to celebrate 2 days because that's what we do for her. And then also on the 1st, my sister-in-law, Jenna Hart, also had a birthday. Happy birthday to the 3 of you this week. Great week. And we did miss last week. I forgot to mention, friend of the show, Nick Rice, had his birthday February 22nd, I want to say. So February's a busy week for us. And then this week, his wife, Brooke, also had a birthday. So, or maybe that's next week. I don't remember. They all have birthdays all around the same time. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us, JR and Jaden. Congratulations one more time to the ELC Mighty Midget ladies for your state championship win. Rich, close out the show for us.
All right, Mike, why don't you go ahead and roll the outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.